Hi, my name's Ellie. I'm 44 and I am a mum of 4 children. I'm a musician and music teacher. I was first diagnosed with FND, I can't even remember the actual month, but it was sometime last summer when I was with the neurologist. I'd had lots of tests done and these tests were more for epilepsy, so they would come back negative. My MRI scan was clear, so in a way I was relieved that there was nothing serious wrong, because I had started to think either I have early onset dementia or there's something wrong with my brain. So it was quite a relief to get a diagnosis. I've been suffering symptoms for at least 3 years, maybe longer. I have suffered badly with my mental health in the last 7 to 10 years, I'd say. And I've been receiving treatments for that, and I'd had times of remission, and these symptoms were a little bit different. So it first got really noticed when I realised I was just zoning out. Somehow I'd had 2 car crashes in the space of just over a week. So this was really time to step up and notice something was going wrong with my brain. So the GP was then quite keen to get me referred and checked out. Those car crashes happened 2.5 years ago, so that's the timescale of the waiting list of getting seen by the neurologist. I think I waited about a year to actually see the neurologist, but I know that waiting lists are really bad for neurology. I'm in Northern Ireland, but I think it's bad everywhere. I was even starting to consider going for a private appointment to find out what was going on. So the GP had already said I wasn't to drive because it was clear that I'd caused these accidents, and the reason was because my brain had just switched off. So I can remember thinking clearly what I was about to do, and then suddenly being in the back of somebody, and I didn't do the turn off I was supposed to do. And I mean, it all sounds really crazy, but when you start to look into it and find reasons, you can see what's happened with my brain. Is it started to disassociate, and I've learnt that through a lot of the trauma therapy that I'm now having. This was meaning other symptoms are like memory loss, short-term memory loss, things like one day I forgot to collect the kids from school, which is absolutely mad. And even though I knew the time and I knew that I had to fetch them, somehow I still didn't go and collect them. So I was getting really, really concerned about this. Lose my train of thought a lot as part of it. Seizures, yeah. I started getting all these seizures, mainly in my sleep. I'd be waking up and I'd have bitten my tongue really badly. So that was all other reasons why I was sent to the neurologist. Have quite extreme times of biting my tongue, and I don't know if every seizure I bite my tongue. I don't know if I have them also when I don't bite my tongue. I've also bitten really hard the inside of my cheek, things like that, really awful. Now I am learning that these things are connected to stress. I am learning that disassociation and all these symptoms are perhaps related to trauma and mental health. So I'm having loads of help with that. But as far as the neurologist is concerned, she can't do anything more to help me. So I've sort of been written off, I think, from the neurologist. So it will be all a psychotherapy route. I know that FND isn't always to do with trauma, but I think in my case it's possible that my experiences have caused my brain to do certain things to protect itself, and that's sort of now overriding. It's doing it too much, if that makes sense. So I think I might need some retraining of my brain. So the part, I'm just looking at notes here, that really frustrates me is the not driving. Having been a driver, living in a rural area, having 4 children to run around, that's been the hardest hitting thing. Also, I'm a musician and I can no longer take gigs at weddings. I sing and play the piano. I couldn't get my equipment anywhere, so I've had to just stop all of that. So that's been pretty gutting. I still play the piano once a week. in a really nice hotel in Enniskillen because there's a piano there, but it sort of stopped me performing, which has been a real blow. So that I would say is the worst. Success. Okay, I've been asked, is there anything that has been a positive in this? The only positive that I can see, as it's made me slow down a little bit, think about myself a little bit, put some energy into my own health and well-being, and maybe if this hadn't happened, I'd still be motoring on at 100 miles an hour. So I'm learning about mental well-being, about breathing, about taking time to relax, how important that is in the body. So that's the only thing I can say. And as for advice for anyone recently diagnosed, I'm really sorry, because it's really not an ideal thing to be having to do.